prepare thee when no one ever could come close. Look around, but I can't see. That is usually just how it goes. Brought a new horizon, opened up our doors to something more. Spun me round and you shook me, got me tainted to the core. So tell me what to do when nothing, no one ever comes close to you, close to you. For the longest time I've been trying to find someone like you, but I keep crashing back into all the things that you would do. For the longest time I've been out of my mind, trying to lose every single trace of you. But I know it's true that nothing, nothing, I said nothing comes close to you. No, nothing, nothing, I said nothing comes close to you. In a million days and in a million ways, I know this to be true, that nothing, nothing, I said nothing comes close to you. When I close my eyes now, like I got your smile going on repeat. You're the star of my movie, but now it's done, still stuck in my seat. Ain't getting off easy, like I'm doing time yet without parole. Got me flirting with disaster, but I'm all in, gotta go for gold. So tell me what to do when nothing, no one ever comes close to you, close to you. For the longest time I've been trying to find someone like you, but I keep crashing back into all the things that you would do. For the longest time I've been out of my mind, trying to lose every single trace of you. But I know it's true that nothing, nothing, I said nothing comes close to you. No, nothing, nothing, I said nothing comes close to you. In a million days and in a million ways, I know this to be true, that nothing, nothing, I said nothing comes close to you.
And good evening. Welcome to Atlanta Video Network's Facebook page. Welcome to our YouTube channel. I went on a little early there because I was trying to get everything all set up here. Just wanted to, I'm Rick Clear from Atlanta Video Network, and some of you may join us on our YouTube page, some of us may join us on our Facebook page. Tonight we're just going to have a little conversation about the coronavirus. I have spent the last month, 6-7 weeks with the virus. It's been quite an experience, I will tell you that. And I just thought tonight, with the fact that some things are going to be opening back up again, and I think we have to take care. And this is one of the things that I just really am adamant about, that we do have to get back with it. Things have to get back going. Our economy has to get going again, and but yet at the same time we need to take a great deal of care as how we do it, I believe. I listened to a couple from England who had been on a cruise ship, and they just were telling their story about what happened to them with the coronavirus, and I thought maybe I would do that tonight. I live here in Atlanta, Georgia. In fact, my apartment is right between two of the state's highly respected trauma centers. So we've got two great hospitals, right here, just a block away. And unfortunately, the night I really got sick, I couldn't walk to either one of them. That was a shame at that point. But anyway, Atlanta Video Network. We do a lot of community programming. We try to get out and get involved in political things, newsworthy things with civil rights. We work for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, Martin Luther King's organization. We do the President's Report every week. We're involved at City Hall. We try to go to as many things as we possibly can. We're a small crew. We all have other jobs, and we're trying to build this little organization as kind of a new type of public media. And back at the beginning of March, right at that weekend, March 2nd, I think was a Monday, but over that weekend when we knew that maybe some things were going to start shutting down, I kind of emailed and messaged our team that maybe this was the time we could really step forward with community media. And if things were going to be shut down and people weren't going to be able to move, we could kind of step in and provide a fun and informative way to maybe have call-in programs or programs where people could join us live. I put that feeler out to our group to see if we'd be interested in do it. Little did I know that about 3 days later, I would come home and end up with quite a fever and begin to get feeling really bad. And in fact, it's funny because when I first got it, I didn't even consider the coronavirus because this was something big and bad, and I wouldn't get that. There's no way. But we started sheltering in place, and I think that the sheltering in place is it's something that we've done, and we've done very well. Of course, all the businesses are closed. People take care, I think, when they go to the grocery store. I have not been out since March 13th, 14th, so I haven't been to Walmart or the grocery store, any of those places. But I think one of the things we need to think about as someone who has had this virus and knows how, I had a mild case of it, and how it's just literally deathly sick. I was scared, literally deathly sick you can be. I think as we begin to think about opening up, we need to keep two important things in mind. And one of them is not about our own risk. People say, I want to go out, I want to take the risk, that'll be my fault, and that's absolutely fine. I would feel terrible if anybody got sick with it, but we are allowed to take our own risk. The problem with COVID-19 is that, one, it's highly contagious. That's the smallest of the two things that I want to mention. And we all know that. It's highly contagious. You can catch it very easily. The other thing, as I said, is not about the risk we take personally in getting it. I'm going to go somewhere and I'll take my risk at getting it. The problem is our transmitting it. And the real problem in that lies in the fact that I could get coronavirus today and be able to transmit it to you. And I wouldn't even know I had it for 2 weeks. I might not know that I had it at all. But sometime within the 10 or 14 days, if it's going to make me sick, it will begin to make me sick. But young people, a lot of young people, can go right on into it. I was very dismayed today to learn that a 5-year-old girl died of it this last week. That's very sad. But those are the two main things. You can take your risk, your own personal risk. To me, that's out of the equation, because you can do that if you want to. But it's the idea that we go out, we touch a doorknob, we touch an elevator button, we open a door handle, we get it, we touch something else. We're spreading it to who knows who. Maybe our own parents, maybe our own grandparents. Maybe we spread it to our own children. And that would be a bad thing. But it was an interesting situation for me over the course of several weeks. That original fever that came up, I just felt bad, just kind of like you would kind of getting the regular flu. And then all of a sudden, I had another experience. I was one of them that got diarrhea with it. And that's not a fun subject to talk about, but it was just constant. It was constant, especially at night, all night long, up out of bed all the time. The bad case with that began to be that as I got more hydrated, it was hard to keep hydrated, got more hydrated, it got to be the place, okay, I have to get up and go to the restroom, and you raise your head up out of bed, and you just almost are going to be put back down in bed. So it was very difficult to make those trips to get that chore taken care of. And the other thing was then that I didn't have any headaches, severe headaches. The breathing, I'm very susceptible. I have bronchitis every winter. I have a little bit of asthma. I have had all my life. And the breathing part of it became a lot like asthma. Now, if you don't know anything about asthma, you kind of have right in here a feeling that you can't quite get enough breath, without coughing. You take a deep breath and you're going to cough. And that's how that was for me. And in fact, as it got worse for me, I began to find myself taking little short breaths all the time, which can kind of get you, the doctor told me, into hyperventilation type thing. But anyway, I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not going there. But I found myself taking lots of shorter, deep breaths. But I thought this was still something I was going to get over. One of the interesting things was that I didn't learn until later in the emergency room was that I hadn't eaten much for a few days. And I had these little Michelanas from the grocery store, these little cardboard things that have food in them, and I love their little kind of like pizza rolls. They're little chicken-filled pizza rolls. There are about 10 or 12 of them in a box, 190 calories, I can tell you that. But they're great to snack on. They're called chicken snack rolls. But anyway, I have those, and they take 95 seconds in the microwave. And so I got some of those and put them in the microwave, and I came back into the bedroom, and I laid down, and I took a bite of that first one. I thought, well, this isn't very good. This is not good at all. And I thought it just tasted like cardboard. So I did try another one, because at least I was a little hungry for the first time. I hadn't eaten much. And the next one was the same way. And I suddenly realized it tasted like cardboard because I wasn't tasting anything. And I had a little bit of cough syrup that I'd had there, so I decided to see if I could taste that. And there was no taste to that. And I noticed there was no smell to it. And then I keep a little jar of, when I was sick like this, I keep a little jar of Vicks Vapor Rub there, and I opened that up, put it to my nose, and I couldn't smell that. And excuse me, I got a cough. Even though I'm feeling much better, they said the cough will be with me for about 6 weeks or so. So the Vapor Rub didn't smell like anything, and that was kind of fascinating to me. The next evening, one of my former students, Kyle, is here in Atlanta and lives here as well. And when he came home from his job, I told him I thought maybe I don't think he was working. He might have been. That whole time period is kind of foggy to me. But I said I need to go to the emergency room, which isn't far away. And I called the apartment complex office and I said, I think I'm going to have to call the ambulance. I just wanted to let you know, because I can't go down and stand and wait on an Uber. I can't really stand at all. And so they were very nice about it. And I told Kyle, I said, I'm going to call the ambulance, so you'll know when they come to the door. But I want to comb my hair and brush my teeth first. I hadn't done that in a week. And I went into the bathroom, and at that point I knew I couldn't brush my teeth, but I wanted to comb my hair. So I picked up my brush and I put my hands over my head. And when I put my hands over my head, I went just very quickly. If you've ever passed out, that's something I've done a lot. You just begin to get this funny feeling, and you just go down. And I eased myself down to the floor. And that was over very quickly. And I got up and came out and right around the corner and sat on the edge of my bed and told Kyle that I couldn't do anything. I needed to get that ambulance here. And so they came, and we went to the hospital. And I hadn't eaten or drank. In fact, if you ever want to, I'll call it the Corona diet. This is a good diet. I did lose exactly 30 pounds during this 5 or 6 weeks period. But the interesting thing was, the hospital, they put a couple bags of IVs to get me rehydrated. They took all the tests they could take. The oxygen levels, something I never really knew about. I've had that little thing on my finger before, and they told me the oxygen level was 93, and I said, oh, that's pretty good. 93. If I got a 93 on an exam, I thought I was in great shape. And the doctor said, well, it's okay, but we don't want it to go any lower. Said we don't want it to get down to 90. So I realized maybe that wasn't as good as I thought it was. But they told me that the tests that they came back, they did lots of tests, and they said it appeared I had the flu. And but he wasn't sure yet, but they did take the swab test up the nose, which is not a fun thing, as our president said. Only lasts for a second, though. But it came back negative. It came back negative for all flus. And this is when the doctor said he was a little concerned that maybe I had COVID-19. And I said, well, will we know from a test about that? And that's the first time I said that I couldn't get a test. And I told the doctor, I said, that's a little aggravating the more we discussed it just for 20 seconds. And I wasn't able to get a test for coronavirus. He was not going to admit me to the hospital that night. If I was admitted to the hospital and was in more serious shape, they would have given me a test. So I went home not knowing what it was. But I felt better because I was rehydrated. But I came back home, still couldn't eat. It was hard to drink anything. I had that adult Pedialyte. Friends got me some of that. Kyle got me some of that at the drugstore, and it just got worse and worse, and especially in the little short breaths. That was something that scared me. It scared me to lay down flat at night, so I sat up in bed for the next week. And just about another week, I have a great doctor. You can call her through their system, medical system that they have here. I did that a couple times, and finally she called me on Friday evening, and she said she was at the hospital. How was I doing? And I said, the fever is terrible and constant. It never goes away. I can't take Tylenol to get it down, or anything like that. And then she said, come to the hospital. It's like, oh boy, here we go again. This is just more money. Right. So I did go. New set of doctors there. They did all the same tests again. And I asked if I was going to be able to get a test for COVID-19. No, we don't have any tests available. If you were going to be really, really ill and life-threatening, we can give you a test. Well, I'm getting a little worried about this at this point. And then my doctor I am so thankful she did it. The attending physician in the emergency room down says, your doctor, we're going to send you down for a CT scan so we can look at your lungs. And not knowing what that was all about, we went and did that. And almost immediately after that, they came back and said, you have, and I'm not going into the detail of what they call it and everything. I've looked it up a lot. But they came back and said, well, you have all the signs of pneumonia that relates to COVID-19. So we make that diagnosis at this point. So that's a little scary in itself, too. Now we know that it is. And for me, obviously, and this is the bad thing about COVID-19, we don't have a vaccination, and there's nothing to do really about it. I would be very hesitant to take the malaria drug for it, because as we know, that could cause other problems. I don't hate to go that way when I'm trying to get better from something else. So that was not brought up to me at all, by the way. And so the doctor gave me a Z-Pack, which he said would probably not help me at all, but he wanted me to have that. They gave me very popular little pill, a steroid, to maybe help open, reduce inflammation, and that was about it. Except again, all the things to try to stay hydrated, because you were having constant diarrhea, you were doing all of these things, and you're not hungry at all, you have no taste, you have no smell, and all that. So again, when I was dismissed from the hospital, came on home and continued the regimen of taking care of myself. So we were at about March 14th when it all began. And then I remember being so excited, and I remember it was April the 1st. I woke up, and I had to stop for a minute because I didn't feel that I had a fever. It took my temperature. I didn't have a fever. This makes you really, really weak. It makes you so tired that you don't want to move. You can lay in bed and think about, I'd like to put my hand over here on the other side of my leg, and you just don't do it because you just don't want to move. So I was able to start moving around a little bit. I got up. Then on April 2nd, I felt just a little bit better, so I was able to move this desk chair in my bedroom into the bathroom and sit there and wash up and clean up and shave. For the first time in weeks, I shaved there at the lavatory, so that did make me feel better. And it was just a gradual process again. By the way, if you have any questions at all, you can put them up here on in the comments thing on Facebook or YouTube. You can, I think I've got that all set up for you to do that. I believe. You can make those comments and I will see them here and can actually put them up on the screen. But anyway, I just began to feel better and better. And then on April 14th, I had another video conference meeting with doctors. I love the way they do that. And I was feeling pretty good. The fever had been gone then for 14 days. And I've just been feeling better. Still don't feel great. The cough is mostly gone. They said I might have that for 6 weeks. I feel like I would like to go out and take a walk. You know, there's a part of me that just is so tired, but then I also remember I need to get going on that again because March 14th to April 20th here is quite a long time. So that's kind of my story. I had a mild case that was, I can honestly say, it was the sickest I've ever been. And when it comes to the breathing part of it, when you're having trouble breathing, that's scary. And at the same time, you know very well that so many people are dying from this virus. And you know that when you're older, and I'm 66, when you're older it can happen to you very easily with this virus. So you don't know what your chances are with it. You don't know where it's going to attack. And I've been so upset to see that even though they said it was older people that needed to be worried about it, all these people in their 40s and 30s, and like I said, this little 5-year-old girl this week, it's something that's really, you need to watch for. You need to be careful of. So that's kind of my story. Didn't have any comments right here unless I missed them. If I missed something, because it's not coming up my system here on the screen beside me, I'll go back and answer. If you have any questions at all, even on the replay, ask. I'll check there and answer any questions I can from somebody who's had it. It's something you don't want. It's something you don't want. You know, sometimes I think we get so used to watching things on TV, they almost become, we mix up that, you know, movies are so real anymore, the war scenes, the fight scenes, the death scenes, and then there's reality that we see on the same TV. We kind of sometimes, we know the difference, but yet we don't often think. But when we say 40, 40,000 people have died, basically in the last 6 weeks, couple months, 8 weeks. That's awful. How many people would that be if we had an airliner crash with 250 people on it? We would all be seeing that on the news and think what a disaster it is. Well, in this case, what if in the last 8 weeks we had 200 aircraft crash in America? Same number of people. So again, as we begin to open up the country, and I'm one of those, I realize very much we cannot let the economy set. Businesses, restaurants, everything, they would go bankrupt. Families need to get back to work. But it's amazing that this virus in such a short time shut down basically the world. And I know we need to get going again, but I also know that we don't want to ruin the progress we've made where they say flattening the curve, that we're going up and now beginning to come down. Because the two things I said, and I saw yesterday the protesters, and it's fine that they're protesting. It's great because this is America. They can do that. But everyone I saw that they interviewed said, it's my business if I want to take the risk. It's my business to take the risk. And that's not at all what it's about, friends. It's not about you taking a risk. You can take a risk. I can take a risk. That's not a problem. We can all take the risk of getting it if we want to. The problem is, it's very contagious. It's easy for you to get, and any one of us can become a carrier for it and not even know we have it. Not even know we have it. So I'm not against opening things back up in a gradual way. But I, for one, know, because I wasn't going anywhere. Somehow I got it, being right here in this apartment complex. And I realized maybe I could have got it by going down and putting my key in my mailbox here at the apartment complex and shutting the mailbox door. Maybe the postman had touched that from someplace else. I don't know. None of us will ever know, but I know that, for one, I'll take whatever risk I want to take with it. But there's no way that I want to make somebody else sick because I touched something. And I guess for those of us who have it, if anybody gets it out there, I can tell you that one of the real concerns you have afterwards is, and I'm reading all kinds of different things, I have no fever, I have nothing left about it whatsoever. And the doctor says that I really am not contagious unless I go touch something and then touch something else. I can pass it along. But I'm also reading that people who have recovered from it can harbor those symptoms within them, and in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks have those symptoms again. So I hope that's not the case. It's a small number of people, but that can also mean they're contagious again. So it's a virus that we know very little about. And again, we don't have a vaccine. Hopefully in a year, 18 months, we'll have a vaccine for this. And maybe from then on, we can plan ahead for the next one that comes on. Because I think there'll always be something else. You need to be wise about that. We need to be wise about that. So all I can tell you is protect yourself, wear your masks. They say wearing gloves is not such a great thing, and I think I understand that because your gloves can get contaminated. I think we're best to make sure we have sanitizer or soap and water and make sure we're washing our hands constantly. But wear those masks. You can take a risk if you want to, but I would say please don't, because you'll be the sickest you've ever been in your life. And maybe, not me. Good. But mostly, let's all think about not our own risk, but let's think about each other and what we can do to prevent somebody else from being sick. I think that's the most important thing we can do. So that's kind of my story. Nothing dramatic, nothing awful. Just it was what it was. And I'm so glad to be feeling better. And I feel so bad for all of those people who are sick. And I just can't fathom the 40,000 lives that were here 8 weeks ago. And they never had any idea that they would get something that would take their lives so quickly. So take care of yourself. I hope that we can open up America again, do it on a gradual basis, and that things can get back to normal. It'll be interesting to see what the new normal is also. I think that's kind of interesting, how things will be. So anyway, that's my little story, and that's my commentary on staying safe. It's not about our own personal risk. It's about the risk we take. It's about the risk that we're going to put upon other people. So I think that's the important thing to think about. So thank you. And I'm sorry that I got sick and Atlanta Video Network couldn't do the job it really intended to do and has intended to do all along. But we're going to be there and be very involved in our community, because we want you to have a voice. And public media is the way to do it. Remember how we used to have, and we still do have in a lot of our cities, we do in Atlanta, on cable TV, public access facilities. Well, I think what you're seeing now from a lot of the news stations is how easy it is to do video production from anywhere, from your phone, and do it professionally, not little shaky video, to do it really professionally with microphones and everything right through your phone and send it back to the studio. It can be done so economically. So we're interested in kind of being that new form of what used to be public access. We want to be all over town. We want to be here in Atlanta in all of our neighborhoods and really be involved in the community. That's cool and it's fun. And I really hate that I got sick at the time I did. So anyway, everybody have a good tomorrow, good rest of the week. Stay safe and stay conscious of everyone else and how we interact with everybody else to make sure that all of our friends, our neighbors, and our families stay safe. We have that responsibility. Thank you.